Now with that, we're going to take you through the moments when the shooting happened. The White House correspondents who were present there, the attendees of this particular event, what did they go through? These are those reports coming in. All right, we are going to play out those reports in just a moment from now. But yes, there are witnesses who are describing the moment of panic, the moment of fear. We will play that out in just a moment from now. But before that, listen into what US President Donald Trump said.
The man has been captured. They're going to his apartment. I guess he lives in California. And he's a sick person, a very sick person. And we don't want things like this to happen. I think it's very important that I say, though, and I told the representatives of the evening, they did such a beautiful job. It was such a beautiful evening. And again, they're talking about free speech in our Constitution. That's what it's all about, not just White House correspondents. It was really based on free speech in our Constitution. I want to thank the First Lady that was a rather traumatic experience for her. There was a lot of action taking place up there very quickly.
Now, we are going to also take you through some ground reports and also bring in our guests who are joining us on this broadcast, O.P. Singh, former DG of the CISF, with us. Before we show you those reports that we were talking about, I want to take my question with Mr. Singh. You know, this is a high security event with US President present there, yet a gunman reaches the final screening zone, Mr. Singh, and then, you know, right now the administration there is calling this a success because they foiled what he was trying to do. But in your assessment, is this a security failure or a security success?
You know, a lot of things, good morning, a lot of things are still awaited. Say, for example, the accurate and thorough informations will take some time. And that is why it's very premature to say something. What exactly happened on that particular moment? VIP protection, and that to the president, American president's protection, is a very, very specialized service. And it needs to be taken as a proactive, multi-layered shield for such a high-risk individual. Definitely something good happened, and good was that the president could be shielded immediately. He was whisked away. All the guests were also whisked away. But the bad thing is that there was a security breach. And I think that how the attacker, or how the assassinator could be so close to the target, that was, I think, in my opinion, was a major security lapse. And minded that the president of America has been attempted 2-3 times before also. And this particular attacker was armed with guns and knives, and he stormed in the lobby outside a high-profile dinner. So that is something that worries the security analyst. And I think that was a great security breach. First of all, he shouldn't have been allowed to come so close to the target, so close to the president of America. And secondly, was there any access control? Was there any frisking of the individuals? I'm told that the journalists were being frisked, but what about the attacker? How could he gain access to such a high-profile meeting? But, you know, thanks to the Secret Service agents, you know, they are very, very, they're very, and they evaluated the entire procedure. He was taken into custody. And but, you know, so far as the breaches are concerned, I could certainly say that there was lack of assessment. There was lack of proactive planning. They couldn't identify
lack of proactive planning. Mr. Singh, I want you to hold your thought there, because I want you to actually talk to our viewers about this VIP security, because we look at layers, we look at outer perimeter, access control, inner ring. Before we talk about which layer failed, let's look at that report filed by some of the attendees of the White House Correspondents Dinner.
मैं इस वक्त वॉशिंगटन डीसी के हिल्टन होटल के बाहर हूँ, जहाँ कुछ ही देर पहले प्रेसिडेंट ट्रंप हमारे साथ डिनर कर रहे थे और सडनली हमने आवाज़ सुनी जैसे कि कुछ डिशेस क्लैटर हुए। जैसे मैंने मुड़कर देखा तो सर्वर्स जो हैं वो अपनी ट्रेज लेके अंदर की तरफ भागे और उसी वक्त मुझे लगा कि कुछ सही नहीं है और कुछ सिक्योरिटी लैप्स हुई है इस टाइम पर। सारे लोग जो हैं जो टेबल्स पे अपना डिनर कर रहे थे, फर्स्ट कोर्स कर रहे थे, वो टेबल के नीचे छुपने की कोशिश कर रहे थे, ग्राउंड पे लेट गए। ये कुछ तकरीबन 5-10 मिनट ऐसे चलता रहा और जैसे मैं उठी और जैसे मुझे लगा कि अभी मैं सेफ हूँ, तो मैंने स्टेज की तरफ देखा तो उतने में प्रेसिडेंट ट्रंप को सबसे पहले सिक्योर कर दिया गया था। जो फर्स्ट लेडी है मेलानिया ट्रंप, उन्हें भी लेके चले गए थे वहाँ से एक सेफ जोन पे। और तकरीबन 12-13 मिनट के बाद जो कैबिनेट मेंबर्स हैं, स्कॉट बेसेंट थे, पीट हेग्सेट थे, काश पटेल थे, जो जिन्हें मैं थोड़ी देर पहले ही मिली थी और हम कैजुअली बात कर रहे थे, उन्हें बाहर निकाला गया। कैरोलाइन लेविट को बाहर निकाला गया। जो सारे बेसिकली कैबिनेट के मेंबर्स हैं उन सभी को यहाँ से निकाला गया और तकरीबन 30-35 मिनट्स के बाद पूरी जो होटल है उसको सील कर दी गई थी। सील करने के बाद एक अनाउंसमेंट हुई कि ये जो प्रोग्राम है अब बंद कर दिया जाएगा। सो ओवरऑल ये डेफिनेटली एक सिक्योरिटी लैप्स है कहीं ना कहीं, कि एक गनमैन जो है एक गन लेकर इतनी सिक्योर जगह में आके और उसने फायरिंग की है। आने वाले वक्त में हमें पता चलेगा सारी डिटेल्स का इन द नेक्स्ट मे बी 1 hour or so. In Washington DC, Reena Bhardwaj for ANI.
So here is a venue that carries history. This is the Washington Hilton, is not just any other hotel. In 1981, President Ronald Reagan was shot outside this very venue in an assassination attempt that shocked America and the entire world. And even today, it is sometimes referred to as the Hinckley Hilton. So when there was gunfire that was reported, again, it was not just a security scare. It triggered deep historical memory. And these are those pictures that will tell you about how that was that moment in 1981. Where there was an assassination attempt on Ronald Reagan. Take a look at the pictures from this is archival footage from 30th of March 1981. And now look at what happens now in 2026. US President Donald Trump, he's inside, he's sitting at the table. This is at the White House. And that is why we're telling you, this particular moment triggers a deep historical memory. Let's tell you more about what happened back in 1981. Why is it, called the Hilton haunting? 45 years apart. On March 1981, outside the Washington Hilton, those are the pictures that came in of an alleged assassination attempt on Ronald Reagan. And now in 2026, the location is again the Hilton checkpoint area inside. This is when President Donald Trump was at the table. When they heard gunfire, he was whisked away. And yes, so we told you about both the significance of this particular hotel, which is the Washington Hilton. Now let's once again, viewers, let's once again take a look at a report that has been filed. Here is a dramatic report where she actually... Now, in your assessment, is that a fundamental design flaw in security planning?
It could be. I haven't visited that spot, so I can't say with full authority, but certainly it requires a revisit to that. And 45 years, as you rightly mentioned, from 1981 to 2026, it's a 45 years of journey, and the security has traveled a lot. And when you talk of security, you not only go for threat and risk assessment, you also do a lot of advanced work like conducting site surveys of venues, mapping of entry and exit points, and planning escape routes. Though there has been a lot of good things happening here, like there was evacuation that was done very swiftly, and there were quick reflexes on the part of the Secret Service agents. But the fact remains that we needed to have some kind of monitoring the potential threats via open source intelligence, and we could have analyzed information to anticipate danger. The fact that you have to establish multiple layers of protections in any VIP security, in any VIP protection, and that is called concentric rings of security, where you have starting from the intimate to the immediate and finally the outer perimeter. That kind of multi-layers are there. In this particular instance, maybe, I'm not sure, but maybe that such thing hasn't happened.
Yes.
How did the attacker breach security and he could come out so near? and was, there are many other questions. His attack on Trump carried out by a lone wolf, that is something different to think of. But certainly it's a matter of great pontifications. We must think of it, that how could it happen like this? And that too in a very, very secured atmosphere. So these are some of the things that really that really is something very, very dangerous. And we must think of it, that how could the personal and the physical security be protected in a very professional manner? Because we proactiveness, but I found that proactiveness was there so far as the post-incident was there. But preparedness was somewhere, I think it was lacking somewhere. The physical fitness was there, proactiveness was there after the incident, but somehow the preparedness was a little bit lacking there. This is my assessment.
Preparedness was lacking. That's the assessment of Mr. Singh. But before we tell our viewers about all the other developments that are coming in, and before I come across to you, Mayank, to get us more on what we know about the shooter, let's play out another report that happened in Pennsylvania. So July 2024 in Pennsylvania, when he was campaigning, was the first assassination attempt on him, when a bullet just grazed past his ear, and that was the moment caught in camera. After that, it also happened in Florida just a few months later in September 2024. Another attempt on him. And now, even now, while the president says that only impactful people are targeted because some don't like what they're doing for America, while he is insinuating that this could have been another assassination attempt on him, we are waiting for an official word from authorities in the United States. This is what happened. He was at the table there. He was engaged in a conversation with the dignitaries present there, and right then there was gunfire that was heard, and this is what Donald Trump said happened.
But I said very importantly that we'll do it again within the next 30 days, and we'll make it bigger and better and even nicer. So I just want to thank everybody that was involved. I also want to thank the press, the media. You've been very responsible in your coverage. I will say I've been seeing what's been out, and you've been very responsible. So Todd Blanche, I'd like to say a few words. I know we're going to have cash, and then you're going to go on. We can ask, I guess we can take a couple of questions. I want to thank the First Lady that was a rather traumatic experience for her. There was a lot of action taking place up there very quickly. But again, the response time was really incredible. And we're going to reschedule. We're going to do it again. We're not going to let anybody take over our society. We're not going to cancel things out because we can't do that. We wanted to stay tonight. I will tell you, I fought like hell to stay.
So Donald Trump said, I fought like hell, but take a look at the footage on your screens. We are going to describe the moment of the shooting. That was when there was chaos, there was panic, and there was visible fear on the faces of those who were present. Donald Trump was taken away in just seconds. The Secret Service agents acted immediately. On the other side of your screen, you're seeing the picture of the shooter, who's been identified as Cole Thomas, who's a teacher, a 31-year-old from California. And that moment that you're seeing on screens is when he was pinned down after he was, he was overpowered there. Everything happened in a matter of minutes. We also have footage of when he was trying to escape. But what do we know about him? We did some searching about him, and his LinkedIn profile shows that he worked as a teacher in California. He's a 31-year-old, once who had donated to Kamala Harris's campaign, a Democrat supporter. And again, that CCTV video that has been posted by US President Donald Trump, which shows that moment when he was trying to escape, but yes, was overpowered. So this is all the footage that we've accessed. We have more reports also filed by those who were present at the spot. And Donald Trump has described the shooter as a sick, as a horrible, and as a very evil man. Srinjoy Chaudhary and Mayank also continue to stay with us as we get you the latest. Going across to my colleague Mayank, who's with us. But before that, let's listen into some more reactions.
Law enforcement has requested that we leave the premises consistent with protocol. And he wanted to emphasize that nobody was hurt. He and the First Lady, the cabinet, everybody's safe. The president will be having a press briefing at the White House in 30 minutes. That is not a joke. And he insists that we will reschedule this event in the next 30 days. And that he wanted to do it tonight. He wanted to continue despite the news, but has to follow security protocol.
So that's a wrap on this broadcast. But viewers, we've been getting you the latest information on what happened at the White House Correspondents Dinner. Yes, Donald Trump is insinuating that this was an assassination attempt on him. Waiting for some more official reactions coming in. Thank you for watching. That's it on this newscast.